to stand in front of you, to stand in front of the cameras and give a very clear and honest assessment of what happens on the game. And this is what I did, reflect very openly how I felt that the team played and how the game was conditioned by these results with the decisions that were made. And it's the duty. My duty is to be defending my players, supporting my players, supporting my club, defending my people in the best possible way. And this is what I'm going to do time after time. And I do it not the way I feel, with the evidence and being as clear as possible. And I always do it. When we play, really need to say that. When we have lost, to take my responsibility, the first one me, to do it. And it's the way that I am, and I have to defend my club.
Viewers, make sure you hit the like button, please. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Bell notifications, get them turned on. It's so important that you turn them on. Mikel Arteta here being quizzed and being challenged about his frustration towards VAR and referees. The club, Arsenal Football Club statement coming out and backing his words. And the fact that the mainstream media, or let me rephrase this, segments of the mainstream media, especially Sky Sports, have come out and absolutely slammed, and I'll quote them, this dangerous approach. I still don't understand what is dangerous about incompetent refereeing being called out and fans and clubs wanting the correct decisions to be made and or consistency within decisions, which is more important. But let's take a little listen to more of what Arteta's got to say here.
Having said that, I mean, I've never seen you react like that. I don't think many people have. Such was your emotion after the game. But was your emotion and your anger simply to do with that goal, or was it maybe a build-up of other decisions that you may feel have gone against you? And if so, will you be taking this up with the PGMOL?
Yeah, things that they don't happen overnight, you know. And
I think, just to interject with Mikel there, where he's right is, I don't think Arsenal fans, and by the way, Man United fans are siding with the television companies that are attacking Mikel Arteta. You're making a rod for your own back. When we saw Big Ange come out, and I don't believe he's telling the full truth around, we should just accept these refereeing decisions. That's been applauded by, of course, Spurs fans, multiple other fan bases as well. We're making a rod for our own back. We're creating a situation where we can't challenge incompetence. We can't challenge inconsistencies. We can't challenge what sometimes appears as corruption, or at the very least, gross negligence. And we are the ones who are being dangerous in doing that. We are setting a horrible precedent. And where I feel for Mikel Arteta is, one, I've been asking for Erik ten Hag at Man United to start calling this nonsense out for a while. We barely get penalties, and we've had so many that should have been given in the past 12 months that haven't. In the particular period, we've had 4 penalties in the last nearly 2 years, where most of our contemporaries have had anywhere between 13 and 17. There's a clear disparity there that I believe comes down to an unconscious bias. How do you break that cycle? By challenging it. And I'm annoyed that we don't. But I've seen journalists refer to Arteta as unhinged. Unhinged. We have seen, by the way, players and managers, I was about to say for a millennia, but in my whole lifetime, square up to refs, shout at refs, get sent off. Look at some of the antics of Klopp. When he's been in referees' faces when he was at Dortmund, running onto the pitch at times, squaring up to people. Pep, who remembers Pep with 1, 2, 3 when he didn't get the penalties? And if I speak, I prefer not to speak. If I speak with Jose, but you get my point. They've all done it. But suddenly Mikel Arteta is unhinged. It doesn't make sense. You get well, if you play better, you wouldn't need the referee's results. That's not the point. Whether you play good or bad shouldn't allow inconsistencies in refereeing. The size of the game shouldn't dictate it either. Let's take a look here at Sky Sports in relation to FA coming for Arsenal, coming for Mikel Arteta. Let's take a little listen to this, peeps.
I'm going to ask him again. Rob, have we heard from the FA about Arteta and Arsenal?
We have, in the last couple of minutes, Mike, significantly. And the FA...
Well, as if by chance that happened.
They have now contacted both Mikel Arteta and Arsenal to ask for their observations.
Their what?
about this matter and about what both of them have had to say with regards to refereeing in the last few days. Now, that isn't a charge, and it leaves open the possibility of a charge. So we don't know whether Arteta and Arsenal are going to have anything thrown at them as a result of what they had to say.
They can't be charged. How can you be charged for calling out facts? We are not living in 1939 Germany. We can all see the inconsistencies. The FA need to back Arsenal. If you can show 3 or 4 examples of a particular foul being given and they're not given to you on a particular day, the FA can't ban you for that. They should be forcing the referees to give a detailed and candid explanation as to the differences. That difference educates and will lead to less problems in the future. This covering up of the issues, these vague, empty, shallow apologies is only going to lead to more anger. And I'm not a fan of this Gestapo-esque, well, we want your observations. We want to know why you said what you said. You don't need to ask them. They've explained it already in their statements in detail. And more clubs should be doing what Arsenal did. And if you're someone who's siding with the FA and siding with the referees on this, that is like Tory behavior. Like generally, Tory behavior, 110%. It really is. You need to, honestly, these people need to have a look at themselves because I don't know who they are anymore.
And I don't get it when our colleagues in the press condemn coaches for being as emotional as Arteta was there, because it makes for great copy. We're still talking about it.
Such an interesting comment there from Richard Keys. He's kind of defending Mikel Arteta and why is everybody coming for him? But it's the second TV presenter in a very short space of time who has mentioned how good this all is for TV. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. And I believe, what I'm about to say I believe in. I believe there is a concerted effort to ignore some of these decisions. I'll give you something I noticed with Gary Neville years ago. He used to condemn diving. And then a few years later, he started doing this rhetoric of, well, the defender left his leg there. He made it easy for the player to go down. Sometimes, what am I hearing? We're now living in a world where we're saying, yeah, it's a dive, it's cheating, but the defender made the challenge, so he made it easy. An honest mistimed challenge that isn't going to make contact with the player is not justification for somebody cheating. The cheating should still be condemned. I might accidentally forget to lock my front door and then I get burgled. It doesn't justify the burglary. Well, you forgot to lock your front door. He deserved your TV. He deserved your TV. I know you haven't got a computer anymore. He nicked your modem. He nicked all your jewelry. But, it is your fault. You forgot to lock your door. And, of course, he deserves to nick it now. It's a nonsense. Yes, you can say it was sloppy defending. Yes, you can say I was idiotic to leave my front door open. But it doesn't make the act of cheating, or in my analogy, burglary, acceptable. But why do I think I saw this? I think it's to infuriate fans. I think it's to generate more conversation. It's the Kardashian effect. It's a pretty ordinary day. Let's create some drama. Let's do is it Ray J video? Is that was his name? Ray J? I don't even know. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a paternity test and see who my real dad is. You know who your real dad is. But let's do it for the cameras. Let's get married just so I can get divorced for the cameras. And fair play to them. I don't watch any of that. But that's what they do, right? And that is what football is becoming. Oh, look, there's a mistake there. Let's not call it out. Let's attack the club for calling it out. More drama. So for me, it is as clear as the nose upon the end of my face. It really, really is. But I want to know what you all think and feel, people.
Oh!
It's absolutely brilliant. Carlton Cole throws pillows at him as well. It's really good fun. It's on their TalkSport socials. But Jamie found it a bit baffling that they were playing this high line with 9 men. He was saying they should have sat in and taken it deep. Then after the game, Ange Postecoglou was saying, listen, if we had 5 men on the field, we'd play like this.
Yes.
Now, I completely understand where he's coming from. He's got his own style. He wants to implement it. As a Spurs fan, looking at how different your defence is going to be over the next few games, obviously Romero out, Udogie out, Van der Ven out as well. Does it worry you a bit that he's going to stick with that in the games you've got coming up?
No. Why would it worry me? This is the way.
Just because those.
Why would it worry you? Why? I've got to say this. There's a lot of gaslighting being pumped into the Spurs fan base. Why would it worry you? I got sucked in during the game. I'm not going to lie. I got sucked into the spectacle. And I sat there watching it. I couldn't believe the high line with 10 men. I was even more flabbergasted with an even higher line with 9 men. And now these comments afterwards are kind of adding to my rethinking of that game. Of the slower the players, the higher the line the manager is going to play. That's the way I'm hearing this. I got suckered in every time Chelsea broke through and didn't score. I was cheering for Spurs, going, oh, this is amazing. And it was amazing as a spectacle for rivals. But let's have it right. The approach should have cost Spurs one of their biggest defeats in their club's history. If it was against a competent attack, they would have been absolutely ripped limb from limb. And if they only did it this way, like some Spurs fans have suggested, because Chelsea's finishing isn't very good, then it isn't him. It is him adapting his style of play. It is him adapting it goes against what the manager says. But there's a lot of gaslighting going on that this is going to be sustainable, that this is going to be okay, especially now with the suspensions and injuries of players.
Players aren't, let's be honest, they're not as good as those other players that are coming out at playing that system.
It doesn't matter. You don't change the way you play.
You do. Every manager in the history of football does. Now, I get Pep, when he's got his strongest teams available, doesn't change it. But if Pep has 2 players get sent off, he doesn't sit his men on the halfway line. You changed how you played. Spurs don't play with that higher line with 11 players. Watch Spurs' games and show me footage. And if you can show me multiple big pieces of footage, I will change my mind. When their opponents have the ball in and around the halfway line, show me Tottenham's defensive line on the halfway line. I don't remember seeing that all season. So the irony in this is Spurs changed how they played with 9 men, and they just got it wrong. It was entertaining and it was fun, but it was wrong. Because they won't play that higher line against Wolves. Guarantee it. When Wolves have the ball at the halfway line, Eric Dyer will not be sitting by the centre circle, standing by the centre circle. Spurs fans are being gaslit into believing that this is some kind of weird innovation which is going to make their team formidable. This is going to see you, especially with the injuries you've now picked up, get absolutely smashed to pieces by so many teams. No one defends that high you wouldn't defend that high with 15 men. Least of all when you're down to 9 men. Listen, I'm not calling out these guys. They might have been indoctrinated as well. But my word, I genuinely mean this to Spurs fans. I think Postecoglou's a breath of fresh air. You've improved dramatically. But don't be suckered into thinking that Eric Dyer can play on the halfway line as a centre-back, because it's not gonna end good, bruv. It's not gonna end good, bruv. Look, people, smash like buttons. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. I'm going to see you all again soon. Cheers, people. Bye-bye. Thank you.